Hey guys, it's Heather here with Underwater Panther, and I literally just spent the last 9 hours straight scripting the next video and book series for this channel. And I was almost dead set on starting with a new personality type. And I have decided to expand out more on Aquarius or INTJ. And so the next series is going to be about getting extremely deep into the masculine and feminine energies within ourselves as an Aquarius or INTJ. Personally, the toxic masculinity and toxic femininity, as well as the healthy masculine and feminine energies within us. Starting with that foundation, I'm going to elaborate in depth with what those mean. And then I'm going to go into how each cognitive function and planetary body plays into the masculine and feminine energies within ourselves, as well as how that plays out in relationships. So it is very in-depth. I have 13 videos so far that I have already mind mapped out. And I will probably also do a ebook series on that as well. So I am definitely not moving on quite yet. I think this will be the foundation of how I do every single personality type. So I started with the nervous system, I went into wealth, emotional mastery, and then the feminine and masculine energies within ourselves and how that plays out with others. So all these topics are extremely important and highly tailored to specific personalities. So I am beyond excited for the next series. So far, there's 13 videos. So this will be my last video. I was going to do one more in this emotional mastery video series, but I am ready to close this series down. I think I've hammered it in depth. So this is the last video. I believe it is video 10. The prior video is about purpose, finding your purpose and keeping your purpose, although your purpose does evolve over different seasons of your life and how to identify the different seasons in your life. So that video is currently still uploading. It is, I think, an hour and a half or so long. It's takes a long, after you hit about an hour, I've noticed, to an hour of a video trying to upload it on YouTube, it takes several days to actually upload. I am not on Wi-Fi. I am just, I just have my personal cell phone internet connection. So I don't know, maybe if I did get Wi-Fi or whatever internet service, it might speed up the process, but I literally have not had an internet service or TV service in 20 years, so it's probably not going to happen. So anyways, this video is the final video 10 in the emotional mastery for the Aquarian or INTJ. We are going to be talking about balancing business goals and your personal life without melting down. This will be a shorter video. I did not expand this out, and I'm not going to write a book for this video. I am more excited about the upcoming series, identifying toxic masculinity and femininity and the healthy masculine and feminine. So that is a huge topic, huge cultural, not even cultural, I'd call it global. It's not just America, it's everywhere. So it's a huge, huge topic that I've actually been studying into for the past year and a half. I have been really listening to anecdotal stories from men and women on both sides. I'm very open-minded. Obviously, we're Aquarians. We're extremely open-minded to gathering in information from all sources. So I have honed in on a lot of that, and I'm so beyond excited to share that with you. I've literally spent 9 hours nonstop working on that series. So I am freaking stoked. I will let you know that I am freaking stoked. So after that, I will probably move on to Capricorn. So yeah, anyways, do you ever feel like you're either all in at work or totally checked out at home? Balance isn't a myth. It's about using your wiring and your planets wisely. So Saturn and Mercury help you prioritize and plan. Uranus makes you adaptable, but can scatter focus. Extroverted thinking wants productivity. Introverted feeling wants meaning. Extroverted sensing reminds you to step back and enjoy the moment. So you need to protect your non-negotiable time for self, work, and connection, which leads to better emotional health and success. Example, weekly scheduling with built-in alone time and friend time. Balance comes from honoring your true needs, not outside pressures. So my prior videos went very in depth with triggers, how we are triggered, how we can set boundaries, and all of that good stuff. So I have workbooks and my worksheets and my ebooks. So, I mean, it's very in depth. So, do check that out if you have issues with triggers and holding boundaries. Do you ever feel like you're running 3 lives at once, chasing goals, keeping up with work, trying to have a social life, and not forgetting to eat? It's hilarious. I actually know a lot of Aquarians that forget to eat, and their energy levels drop so low it becomes an emergency. If your to-do list makes you want to move to a cabin and become a mysterious legend, this video is for you. So here's the truth. For Aquarian or INTJ types, balance isn't just hard, it can feel impossible. Your brain wants to go all in on big projects, solve every problem, and still have time to think deep thoughts and connect with people you care about. Today, I'm breaking down why juggling it all is tough for your wiring and how to build a rhythm that keeps you productive and sane. So I do, because I am sitting here laughing at my own self because I literally just spent 9 hours nonstop working on something. I am in a building phase right now in my life, so I am producing a lot. And honestly, if you want to be the master, which I know you do, Aquarians or INTJs want to be the master at what they get into with their purpose. And so you are going to certainly have times where you are putting forth immense amounts of energy, time, and effort. But I can tell you, when you've actually found your purpose, you are going to feel energized. Time is no longer going to be in existence when you're working on your purpose. And so, although I spent 9 hours on a very purposeful project, I feel insanely energized right now. I will probably do another 2, 3, well, I haven't done videos yet, but I will probably do 2 or 3 hours worth of videos tonight. So I feel very energized from the work that I was doing. So balance is great. Don't get me wrong, balance is great. But if you do truly want to be a master at something, you're going to go hard. You're definitely going to go hard, and do not feel bad for that. Just recognize what season you're in is a big thing. So I suggest watching the prior video. All right, so let's break it down. Aquarians or INTJs are masters of systems, strategy, and seeing the big picture. But sometimes all that vision comes at the expense of actual rest. I am being a total hypocrite. Once you commit to a goal, you want to finish it, optimize it, perfect it, no matter the cost. You also crave mental space, time to process, dream, or just do nothing without guilt. With planetary cycles like Saturn, which represents structure, Uranus, break the rules, and even Pluto, deep transformation, you can feel constant inner tension between discipline, freedom, and renewal. Real life example, you set ambitious work or creative goals and you crush it for weeks, then crash, ignore everyone, and feel guilty for needing time off. Or you calendar every minute but feel like you're still missing out on the stuff that matters the most. Now, I can tell you, because of introverted intuition hero, you're extremely tunnel visioned, as am I. And honestly, if you have actually found your purpose in life and you're building something that is absolutely amazing, especially if it's helping other people, I would honestly suggest you go hard when you can. And when you can't, just remember that life comes in ebbs and flows. Um, really, really minimize distractions. That is huge. Most people, I don't know anyone as disciplined as I am. Like, with social media, with what I intake through what I watch, I'm constantly watching lectures where I'm learning. I hardly ever watch movies. I am not spending hours and hours and hours of my time worthlessly scrolling on social media. I'm extremely disciplined and tunnel vision on my goals. So that would be a great place to start. I'm just telling you now because there's only so much time in our every single day. So, all right, so the problem or challenge, here's the struggle. Overcommitting, then resenting every yes you said. Forgetting to schedule downtime, then running out of energy for work and relationships. Feeling bad for wanting both achievement and real rest. Plus, people around you might expect you to always be on, organized, driven, the go to problem solver. How do you create real balance? Step one, map your week by energy, not just task. I literally just watched a Mina Arfan video about energy versus task lists. I watched that a couple days ago and it made me chuckle because I was like, I already have this in my script. That is such good advice. So most people organize their week around endless to-do lists, but Aquarians or INTJs need something different. A system that respects not just time, but energy flow, which we are introverted. And so energy is it is like energetically, I would say, like mentally, we're amazing. Physically, we just do not have the energy that most do because a lot of people are extroverted. So this energy management is extremely, extremely important for you. Do not disregard that. It is extremely important. Instead of asking what needs to get done, start asking, when do I have the energy to do this best? Now, I am a night owl. I'm sure most of you are. And my creative flow, when I get into a serious creative flow, it's at night. But when I do work at work, I'm also working on my ebooks. I have certain time frames. I'll work on my ebooks and video editing at work. But my true mind mapping, when I'm creating new series, like creating the whole big, huge new series, mind mapping, I'm like in a very, very deep flow state later at night. And so picking up on those things is a beautiful thing to recognize in yourself. Break your week into 3 categories: work or purpose, projects, deadlines, strategy, sessions, body and mind, sleep, exercise, recovery, and mental resets, relationships, friends, partners, family, and community. Write down one non-negotiable in each category for the week. Example, work, finish the proposal draft. Body, mind, 3 workouts plus journaling twice. Relationships, dinner with a close friend Friday night. Aquarian or INTJ twist. Work. Your default is do more. Pick one key deliverable, not 10. Body and mind. Structure, recharge like you would structure work. If it's not scheduled, it won't happen. Relationships. Think depth over breadth. One meaningful connection is greater than 10 surface level check-ins. Reflection prompts to use in your workbook or journal. What work task, if left undone, will weigh on me the most? What's one physical or mental practice that would reset my nervous system? Who in my life do I most want to connect with this week and how? Number 2, match energy to activity. High energy times, which for myself is normally during the evening for some reason with my purpose. Do deep work, problem solving, vision building. In older age, normally, I don't know, that's a side tangent here. I literally wrote in side tangent. I'm not going to side tangent right now. I'm ready to get on my next series. All right, so mid energy times, handle routine tasks, planning, and communication. Low energy times, reflection, self care, or light social connections. Mapping this way helps prevent burnout because you're not trying to do heavy tasks when your brain is fried. For Aquarians or INTJs, high energy periods are not defined by outward displays of extroversion, but by intense, focused, and productive mental states. These periods are generally triggered by engaging with abstract ideas, solving complex problems, or working independently towards a long-term goal. Factors that trigger high energy for Aquarians or INTJs. Challenging intellectual work. High energy comes from the process of critical thinking, strategy, and problem solving. INTJs or Aquarians are driven by a desire to improve systems and implement solutions, and this process is both stimulating and energizing. A condensed workday. INTJs can maximize their mental focus by condensing their most important task into a 4 to 6 hour window during their daily energy peak. Thinking and creating time. Blocking out dedicated, uninterrupted time for deep strategic work is essential for INTJ energy. Protecting this focused time from distractions and meeting is a priority. Personal freedom and autonomy. Aquarians or INTJs thrive in environments where they can work independently and have control over their process. Independent work. They often prefer working alone or in a small, competent teams where they can focus without interruptions or office politics. Goal alignment. Energy is sustained when tasks are clearly connected to long-term goals. Aquarians or INTJs dislike busy work and are energized by projects that serve a meaningful purpose. A small inner circle. While socializing can drain an INTJ or Aquarian, being around a few trusted people can reset or result in bursts of high energy. Deep conversation. With their close circle, Aquarians or INTJs feel comfortable engaging in unfiltered intellectual conversation and can even be goofy or lively. Low maintenance interactions. Because Aquarians or INTJs are exhausted by constant social expectations, their closest relationships are with people who respect their need for solitude and give them space. Times when Aquarians or INTJs feel high energy. The time of day for an INTJ or Aquarian's energy peak can vary based on personal preference and schedule. Many are self-proclaimed night owls who find the late hours to be a quiet, productive, and energizing time to work. However, others, especially as they get older and have a more stable sleep schedule, may become morning people who prefer to start their day early. How Aquarians or INTJs manage energy. INTJs or Aquarians manage their energy by protecting their periods of solitude, as introverts generally recharge by being alone. Solo activities. Solitary pursuits like reading, hiking, listening to music, or creative hobbies are common ways to recharge and decompress after social or stressful events. Physical exercise. Engaging in physical activity, especially in nature, is an effective way to relieve stress and re energize. Avoiding burnout. To prevent burnout, you need to balance deep work with rest. This includes recognizing stress triggers like indecisiveness or small talk, and consciously building breaks in your schedule. Balancing overload with recharge. For every work block you schedule, add a recovery block. After 3 hours of deep work, have a 30-minute movement or rest. After a social event, have some alone time for grounding. And after decision heavy task, something creative or physical. Balancing overload with recharge. So, the principle, your nervous system isn't a machine, it can't run on mode indefinitely. Every block of output, like work, socializing, and decision making, needs a corresponding block of input, rest, movement, and grounding to reset your energy and keep your clarity sharp. Without recharge, stress hormones keep building until you crash. How to apply it. Deep work versus deep rest. After 3 hours of focused mental work, your brain's glucose and dopamine dip. Insert a 30-minute recharge ritual like walking, stretching, taking a nap, or even silence in nature. This resets your prefrontal cortex so you can think clearly again. Social energy versus solitude. Aquarians or INTJs often enjoy people but get drained fast. After a party, meeting, or group event, schedule grounding time alone. Example, journal, listen to music, or sit in quiet with no stimulation. Decision making versus creative release. Decisions eat willpower. When extroverted thinking is overused, you feel fatigued. Counterbalance with something physical or creative like painting, cooking, yoga, or even reorganizing your space. Why it works. The science. Alternating between sympathetic activation, focus, socializing, and problem solving, and parasympathetic activation with rest, grounding, and creativity keeps your nervous system regulated. This balance prevents the all gas, no break cycle that leads to adrenaline fatigue, emotional flatness, or burnout. Quick reset examples: work sprint and then 10-minute outside barefoot or walking, Zoom meeting and then 15 minutes of breathing and light stretching, heavy decision block. Afterwards, you can doodle or listen to music. After a social dinner, you can have a half hour of alone time afterwards. So, key takeaway: think of your day as a rhythm, not a marathon. Every time you push, you must also pull back. This rhythm is what creates resilience. And for Aquarians or INTJs, is the secret to sustainable productivity without frying your system. Ask the right question each week. Instead of asking, "What do I need to finish?" ask, "What has to happen for my work to move forward? What has to happen for my body and mind to feel supported? What has to happen for my relationships to stay alive?" This reframes balance from doing everything to protecting what matters most. Key takeaway: balancing isn't about squeezing more into your calendar. It's about aligning task with energy, prioritizing with time, and ambition with recovery. For Aquarians or INTJs, this shift keeps you productive and sane. So, using planetary cycles. Saturn represents structure and discipline. Saturn loves routines, schedules, and structures. Practical use: block out chunks of time for deep work, sleep, or personal rituals. INTJ tie in: supports extroverted thinking, giving you clarity and order. Example, create a weekly non-negotiable focus block for planning or study. Uranus represents freedom and independence. Uranus fuels creativity, rebellion, and originality. Practical use, built-in time for solo projects, new ideas, or unplanned adventures. It protects introverted intuition, giving it space to innovate. Example, keep one afternoon open weekly for exploring new ideas without obligation. So Pluto represents transformation and deep resets. Pluto rules the underworld, deep cleaning, and shadow work. Practical use, schedule reset days for physical space like decluttering or emotional processing. It keeps introverted feeling healthy by releasing suppressed emotions. Example, monthly emotional audit, journaling what you've been holding inside. Mercury represents clarity and communication. Mercury governs thought, communication, and processing. Practical use. Build cycles of reflection, journaling, or simplifying complex ideas, which helps introverted intuition and extroverted thinking, and by separating facts from spirals. Example, weekly mind dump, journaling session to clear mental clutter. Sun represents identity and vitality, and self-expression, energy, and confidence. In Aquarians, it's in detriment, so expression can feel awkward. Practical use, schedule time to shine through authentic actions, sharing your ideas, values, or leadership. It balances introverted feeling child by expressing your values in small but visible ways. Example, weekly check-in. Ask yourself, did I live by my core values this week? Neptune represents dreams and imagination, creativity, intuition, and spiritual connection. Practical use, schedule time for music, art, meditation, or creative daydreaming. It helps open introverted feeling and into introverted intuition to explore vision and purpose without overthinking. Example, start or end the week with a 20-minute creative ritual, painting, poetry, or visualization. That's a rough one. All right, so in practice, using planetary cycles isn't about astrology as fate. It's about aligning your rhythm with your wiring. Saturn keeps your structure, Uranus protects your freedom, Pluto resets what's stuck, Mercury clears your mind, the Sun helps you live in your truth, and Neptune nurtures your dreams. When Aquarians honor these cycles, they stop burning out and start flowing with their natural blueprint. Protect your calendar. Block off no work time, like lunch, evenings, or even a whole day. Make it sacred. Use alerts or rituals to switch gears, a walk, music, or lighting. Protect your calendar. Your calendar isn't just about meetings and deadlines. It's the blueprint of your nervous system. Every yes you put on it drains time, energy, and focus. Without protecting your calendar, you end up living on everyone else's timeline instead of your own. For Aquarians or INTJs who thrive on long-range vision and structure, this is especially critical. Practical actions. Block off no work time. Example, 12 to 1 p.m. daily, or the lunch reset. So your lunch, you can reset. I always run out on my lunch. I always eat lunch alone. I run out by myself, and that literally helps me reset for the rest of the day energetically. And then Fridays, no external meetings, only focus on personal or creative projects. Okay, so you can color code your calendar. Red is non-negotiable work. Blue is personal recharge. Green is social or flexible. This visual cue makes it easy to see balance at a glance. I certainly, what is my calendar? I am like very visual, and so I had to pay for this calendar. I think it's time. Oh, it's time something. I can't remember, but yeah, using a visual calendar is extremely helpful for me. All right, build buffer zones. Don't stack commitments back to back. Leave 15 to 30 minutes between calls or tasks to regulate your nervous system. Review weekly. Every Sunday evening, scan your calendar. I certainly do this. Ask, where am I overcommitted? Where can I block more no time? What one event drains me that I can decline next week? Reset scripts for calendar protection. That time is already booked. I can do blank instead. I don't schedule meetings on Fridays. Does Thursday work? I need that block free for deep work. Let's look at another time. Key insight. When you protect your calendar, you protect your body, energy, and emotional bandwidth. It's not selfish. It's the foundation that allows you to show up fully for others and for yourself. And give yourself permission to pause. High performance doesn't come from pushing endlessly. It comes from cycles of effort and recovery. Think of elite athletes. They don't train 24/7. They train hard, then recover just as hard. Your mind, body, and emotions follow the same principle. For Aquarians or INTJs, this is especially vital. You naturally push into hyper-focus with NI or over-functioning with TE and ignore your body's signals until it's far, far too late. That's when you crash, mentally, emotionally, or physically. Why pausing feels hard for Aquarians or INTJs. Introverted intuition. Once you're locked on a vision, stopping feels like breaking the flow. Extroverted thinking, you equate rest with inefficiency, so you push through exhaustion. Introverted feeling, you feel guilty about letting others down if you take a break. And extroverted sensing, inferior, by the time you notice sensory overload, you're already burnt out. The science of recovery. Nervous system regulation. Pauses bring your body back into parasympathetic rest and digest mode, which lowers your cortisol, calms the amygdala, and restores clarity. Cognitive performance. Studies show that breaks improve memory consolidation and problem solving by allowing the hippocampus to file information. Creativity. Downtime sparks aha or epiphany insights because your brain's default mode network connects ideas when you're not forcing it. Practical reset rituals. Micro breaks, 2 to 5 minutes. Stand up, stretch, or splash cold water. Rhythmic breaks, 20 to 60 minutes. Use timers. Deep resets, daily journaling, meditation, or walks in nature. And weekly recharge, a full unplugged block. No work, no guilt. Scripts for permission to pause. To yourself, say rest is part of the work. To others, you say, I need to pause to stay at my best. To your calendar, block breaks before you need them. Treat them like non-negotiable appointments. So the bottom line, for Aquarians or INTJs, permission to pause isn't laziness. It's preventative maintenance for your nervous system, your focus, and your emotional balance. High performance equals high recovery. Communicate your rhythm. Tell others I have my own way of balancing things. I'll check in when I'm ready. So, one of the biggest breakthroughs in holding boundaries is realizing this: you don't have to match anyone else's pace. Aquarians or INTJs thrive on deep focus, independent processing, and bursts of high output. That means your yes isn't always available on demand, and that's okay. The key is learning to communicate your natural rhythm in a way that feels respectful, confident, and sustainable. Why it matters. Without naming your rhythm, others assume you're always available. Overcommitting leads to burnout, resentment, or ghosting, your default escape hatch. Naming your rhythm sets the expectation early. You'll engage when your energy is aligned, not when pressured. Practical approach. Be upfront. Let people know how you work best. Focus blocks, recharge time, and delayed responses. Use when, not if. Reassure them you'll reconnect just on your timeline. Frame it as quality. You're not avoiding them, you're making sure they get your best self. Key takeaway. Communicating your rhythm isn't selfish, it's sustainable. When people learn your pace, they adjust. When you respect your own energy flow, you stop burning out and start showing up consistently. Here's the unlock. When you stop trying to do everything at once and start honoring your cycles, balance becomes possible. You're more present for work and relationships, and you actually get more done with less burnout. The best part, you stop feeling guilty for how you work, rest, and connect. Your rhythm equals your superpower. So, in conclusion, if your life feels like a juggling act on a tightrope, you're not alone and you're not failing. Map your week by energy, respect your cycles, and build breaks into your strategy. Alrighty, so this is my final video, balancing business goals and personal life without melting down, being very in tune with your energy flows. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this emotional mastery series. I have a 256-page guidebook on emotional mastery for the Aquarian or INTJ. If you do not want to invest in that specifically, I would suggest that you check out my 3 free ebooks down below. 2 of them are breaking down the cognitive triggers, architecture is what I call it. The cognitive triggers and the planetary triggers. So, breaking down why you are triggered, and then the free ebook on boundaries. So there's 3 free ebooks right now. The first 11 people that download that is free, and then after that, I'm going to close down that limited time offer. And so, yeah, now I'm going to be moving on to my masculine and feminine huge series. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to call it yet. But you need to start with understanding that we all have masculine and feminine energy within ourselves, and we need to integrate ourselves in order to have better relationships with ourselves and with other people. How to identify toxic masculinity and toxic femininity. And honestly, after you integrate that and understand those things, you can certainly uphold your boundaries better. Those are huge red flags. So yeah, I'm gonna definitely dive into that very deeply. I am so freaking like stoked. Honestly, I think that's gonna tie a lot of this together. I honestly almost think it's more important than everything I've already covered on Aquarians or INTJs. But you really do have to have an emotional understanding, like foundation first. And so yeah, I hope you're enjoying my series here, and I will see you on the next series. Like and subscribe. Feel free to comment, email, check out my books, and yeah, I'll see you on the next video.